Educating, informing, serving. Fact TV, keeping government honest.
You are watching a Fact TV presentation of the Village of Saxtons River Trustees meeting.
So it's 7 o'clock, and I will call the special meeting of the Village of Saxtons River to order. This meeting is happening both in person at Main Street Arts. That was a request that we had from one of our members, so we're doing that. But as usual, we are offering the Zoom option, and I believe we are recording. So this should appear on Fact TV later. Present tonight, this is for the purposes of our secretary, Carl. We have the quorum, Amy, Ellen Clark Lawrence, and Carl Ball, and we have Peter Bergstrom. And Ellen, you'll alert me if you have anyone else attending.
Yeah.
I'd also like to note that this is a special meeting by virtue of the fact that it is held on the regular date, the first Monday of the month, but it is at a different place, which required going through some extra shenanigans to warn it. So we plan to meet at Main Street Arts unless there is a strong feeling conveyed to us one way or another that it would be better to go back to remote meetings. So having called us to order, are there any adjustments to the agenda, new items which you would like to have ratified at a later meeting? Carl?
No.
Ellen?
No.
Okay. Any public comment? Peter?
No.
Okay. Ellen, anything you would like to reflect on? Okay, great. So we are up to the fire feasibility study funding. So the Rockingham board has discovered that we're going to have to fund more of our grant to ascertain what is happening with 3 municipal fire stations. They have already begun the process of paying for that. Hello, Anessa, welcome. So this is Anessa Muse, our treasurer. Anessa, we're on number 4 of the agenda, fire feasibility funding. So they have come to ask us if we will increase our allotment. So if you remember, originally we gave $5,000 for this study. Rockingham gave 10, and I think Rockingham, now I've forgotten it. Did Rockingham give 10?
Okay,
And Bellows Falls? Anybody remember?
I think 5.
I think it was 5.
Okay, so we've been asked if we would increase it. The Rockingham board has already voted to go forward. This is, in my opinion, a grant that is very important to the future of Saxtons River. As we figure out what we're going to do, you all know the cost of fire equipment going forward. So having a reasonable way to assess what our readiness and our needs are, it seems to me is critical. So let's have some discussion. Carl, can we start with you?
How much are they asking us to increase?
They thought another 5,000 would be great. Rockingham has ponied up another 10.
Okay.
I understand that has an impact on the budget. We've already set the tax rate.
Yeah. Vanessa, do you happen to know how much we have in our reserve?
We're putting you on the spot, Anessa.
The reserve of the fire station account or village?
Fire station reserve.
The capital reserve, I think, is the first place we should probably look. I'm going to close the door just to give us a little more quiet.
So I think that the places that we could look would be the capital reserve or the money that we have been putting aside towards a new fire station. which I think is, I don't remember which reserve fund that has gone to.
All right, we had 2,000 allocated, budgeted in 2022-23.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
She's looking at it.
Oh, okay.
She's
Yeah.
the figure that was budgeted in 2022,
This year. Mhm.
Yeah, I see 2,000 and 2,000.
So we've been budgeting an annual 2,000 to go into that fund.
Mhm.
So if it's a general fund money market, is that sounds right?
Carl?
I don't know where the funds have been, what accounts the funds have been.
You, I found it. Do you guys want me to bring up the budget?
Yes, please. Let's make you a co-host. In fact, we could almost make you the host. Hold on. So I'm hoping you are now the co-host. Can you see?
Let me see. Nope, I am not.
Do you have a share button now?
Nope.
All right, hold on. Okay, try now.
There we go. Can everybody see okay?
That's great. Thank you, Helen. Thank you, Ellen. So that's
nobody-
the capital reserve. We put 2,000 aside for the capital reserve this year.
Do you
Yeah,
know
and
what,
what I was looking for the bank account. Actual bank in the bank.
So, yeah, there is a fire department capital reserve. Ellen, if you roll back, I don't know that we put anything in for that this year. Line item 6. Yeah, nothing in there. Oh, wait, proposed $7,682. So we put a sizable amount in.
But that's for upcoming year, which is, I mean, right now, July 1st, right?
Yeah. So we have that amount plus previous amounts.
yeah, but, I'm hesitant to dip into that reserve if it's going to impinge equipment that, Art needs.
Yep.
And that's what it's for.
Yep. I could remind you that we have an ongoing discussion about the ARPA funds. We still have ARPA funds left to assign, and we have at least one trustee who would like to see them assigned completely to the fire department. We aren't finished with that discussion, given the low quorum tonight. I mean, we have a quorum, so that's all that counts, but I postponed it to another agenda when we'll have more people present.
I agree.
We have a few more months to figure out what to do with the ARPA funds.
We have about 30,000,
I don't remember, Carl.
a sizable amount.
Yep, we do. Okay.
Yeah, we've got, I think we've got somewhere around 50,000, 45, 50,000 maybe left.
Is this for the ARPA?
Yeah,
Yes.
because I think it was 92,000 that we used for the fire department.
Sounds right.
Plus 2,500 for the rescue squad.
For the
Oh, right.
software.
The software.
I think it's on the same document, Alan. If you, I think, go back maybe, if it's the full report you got, or forward, I don't remember. I saw it somewhere.
There it is. No, yeah, ARPA,
Yeah, ARPA funds.
Yeah,
nice catch. So fire department, 90, projected 92. Fast squad 2, I think the total is 148,000.
It is.
Yeah.
So,
hmm,
Now, we don't know how much that truck is actually going to cost.
well, they gave us a thing, we
Was that a-
accepted their
was that a
bid.
quote?
Yeah, that was a quote.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then
that, we didn't put it out to bid.
Then we
yeah.
do, okay. And we had been putting money into fire station development, I think was the name of it, one item in the budget,
Fund-
which was towards a new
fundraising?
fire station. And we stopped doing that last year or the year before and put that money into the fire department capital reserve instead.
Right.
So we could figure out that would also be money that we could draw on without compromising what Art would be counting on.
Yeah, I don't think Art is counting on anything.
Well,
Well,
No,
maybe you
I-
have better
no,
information than I do.
no,
what's happening?
I think we lost them. They don't have good, they don't have stable internet down at MSA.
Mhm. You're back.
Okay, the connection here is unstable. That's always the problem.
Well, I think that if we have ARPA money, which we might be able to draw on, we have some money in the fire department capital reserve. Do you know what the balance of the general capital reserve is, Vanessa?
Yeah, are you asking the balance of the actual bank account?
Yeah, how much do we have in that fund?
So I have account name Saxons River General Fund, money market. Is that the one?
No,
No,
capital reserve.
There is no such name, capital reserve. I cannot tell which one is capital reserve.
Okay, and we don't know your side of the accounts at all, so we don't have that information to draw on. I think that account is adequate. I mean, we've used it before to fund manhole covers, but it tends to,
no, that, the manhole covers came from the wastewater treatment plant capital reserve,
okay,
which has got a lot of money in it,
okay,
more than we have.
okay, good point, good catch.
We've used, as far as I know, all we've used the capital reserve for is to borrow from when we have expenses and taxes haven't come in yet. I don't think it's a very large account, but it must be $30,000 in it at least, I would just guess.
Well, the one that I mentioned has 34,437. And
That's the money market?
yeah, by elimination, it sounds right, because the others are sewer and rec and park. So it sounds right.
I would guess that that's probably the capital reserve.
Okay,
And Nessa, you said 34,000?
34, as of June 30th, $34,437.78.
Okay, because I saw fund balances on an old sheet from, I think, February. And it had fund balances as of June 2022.
Mhm.
General fund, Saxons River Fire Department, 34,000. $209.92. Village of Saxons River pooled plus money market, 27,934. And then fire department fundraiser, 8,111.
That
that
sounds right.
Yeah, because I think that fire department fundraiser, I thought that's where the original $5,000 came from for the feasibility study. So
Right
it,
now it's $8,115.
Well, this was as of June of 2022.
Right. Yep. So there's a little interest coming
Okay.
every month.
Well, here's the story, folks. It will come out of Saxton's River taxes or Rockingham taxes, depending on where it is funded. Rockingham is going forward with this. They've already voted. So
Should we vote?
we need a motion and then discussion and a vote, and we can vote up or down. I don't think we have the luxury of waiting too much longer. I think they're ready to fund it now. So I received this request, I'm going to say 2 weeks ago. Carl,
So I move that we allocate $5,000 additional money for the fire department feasibility to be taken from village reserves and the specific decision on how to extract those funds to be made at a later meeting.
I second that motion.
sorry, just getting the sense of it down here. Give me a minute. So we have a motion on the floor from Carl, seconded by Ellen, to allocate $5,000 in additional funding for the fire department feasibility study to be taken from the village reserves with the decision to extract it from a specific fund made at a later meeting. Does that reflect what you also heard? All right, is there further discussion? 5,000 is generous. We do have a tax rate that strains a few people in this village, but I think generally speaking, we are fairly sound financially.
Amy, would you
Yes,
tell me what it means? Do I need to cut a check to somebody, or what does it mean?
not now, but at some point when we decide what the funds are, yes, you will write a check and we will give it to the town of Rockingham.
Okay.
And they will apply it to this amount. And you'll deduct that check from the fund that we name. Okay. Are we ready for a vote? Ellen, any
Sure.
other further considerations? You're ready, Carl?
I'd just like to discuss it a little bit.
Oh, sure, that's what we're doing.
As you said, that's a generous amount.
It
So
is,
we're doubling our contribution,
that's correct.
and I'm just kind of curious, do we know that we really need to do that? Do we know that the study is going to cost that much more?
So I asked the town manager, what would happen if we didn't allocate $5,000? Would there be a smaller amount that was acceptable? And he just shrugged. So I don't have an answer. I think they're determined to fund a study. The Rockingham Select Board feels very strongly this is the right thing to do. So you are voicing your opinion on that when you make this motion, but you're also evaluating our financial situation and deciding. We are used to at this point taking funds from ARPA when these decisions come up. We can borrow from Peter to pay Paul and continue to do that. So that's, another thing that we can keep in our minds for this year, but not for
Not for the future,
2024. Yeah, that is only available to us now.
No, but my question is to a different point, as to where did the estimate as to how did they determine how much?
I don't know, and I did not attend that meeting.
Okay. So if we allocate $5,000, it turns out they don't need that much when we get our money back.
No, I think this is, I think it needs that much money. It'll be made up from someplace else I assume in Rockingham, if we don't come through with our contribution.
Okay. So this is, in other words, this $5,000 is not a generous estimate.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
It was the amount requested.
I just wonder what's behind the request. I wasn't at the meeting and I didn't, talk to Scott, so I just wondered if you had any other insight.
I don't.
Okay,
All right, are we ready for the vote?
Mhm.
Maybe we should do roll call. So I'll vote in favor of the motion to, well, let's read the motion once more. We have a motion on the floor to allocate $5,000 in additional funding for the fire feasibility study. This is the study for the 3 municipalities, Rockingham, Bellows Falls, and Saxtons River, to be taken from the village reserves. The exact location that it will be withdrawn from to be made at a later meeting. All in favor, and we'll do a roll call. Amy, Ellen, and Carl. Amy, I vote aye. Ellen
Ellen votes aye.
and Carl.
aye.
So it is unanimous. Okay, we are on to the next. And Inessa, I will talk to our town manager and let you know what the timing is and how the check is made out. We are on to the Novus Energy Development decision. So I'll remind everyone that Kristen Swardow offered to research this situation further. She had seen a template online that was slightly different from the Novus Energy Development wording. She talked to Alex Barakis. I sent you her comments. I can pull them up again, but I think you both received them. You've had time to review them. I also had an opportunity to talk with her since the last meeting and since her research. And what she said basically was she is comfortable with any decision any quorum of the board makes. She's away on vacation now, so she knew she would not attend this meeting. One of the things that came up that she discussed with Alex was the idea of creating a solar installation at the wastewater treatment plant. That was a whole new idea. And when she broached it to Alex, he said, yes, you could do that. Novus might be interested in taking on that property. It would be at least a 2-year project in permitting. So I think he envisioned that we would be creating a project there. Again, we would get whatever the rule was at that time, perhaps 10%, perhaps another amount as an off-taker for that project. So we would not have the responsibility of creating it, but it would be the usual permitting process. So exposing the project to abutters, seeing what people had to say, looking to see how much shade is on that property, how much acreage could be used to generate solar, and then following through on those discussions. We had decided if we were ready to make this commitment that we would have legal review of the contract before we passed on it. That would probably cost, I'm guessing, between $300 and $600. My thought was that we would ask the Vermont League of Cities and Towns to review the contract. It is the standard one that Novus uses. They were willing to make one adjustment. The papers from Ellen showed that as a starred thought, but in general, it would be the same contract. One of the questions that Kristen asked is, could we change our mind down the road? And the answer to that seems to be pretty clearly no. We make this commitment and we are in the contract for the next 20 years.
Yes.
We do have present with us Peter Bergstrom, who has given us coaching. So I'll ask him if there are any questions. I will ask him to comment on these. But Should we begin with a motion so that we know we're willing to vote tonight? I think this is also time sensitive. That's definitely the feeling I got from Kristen and from conversations with Novus. So are you ready? Are you ready for a motion? I will move, let's put it in the positive. I move that we vote tonight to, what is the wording we want? To become an off-taker to the Novus Energy Development Contract after review by the Vermont League of Cities and Towns, after legal review by the Vermont Cities and Towns. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, so now we have a motion on the floor. Let's start with some questions.
Can
And
I,
Peter, you're willing to help us out
Amy,
here?
before we go,
So question from Carl. first.
not a
Sure.
question, but I think maybe we should not specify the legal review by Vermont cities and towns, but just after legal review.
Okay,
So that we can move ahead with somebody else if they don't want to take it.
after legal review of the contract. Great.
Do I need to make a formal amendment?
I made the motion. I'm happy with it.
Okay.
You seconded the motion?
I'm happy
You're
with it.
happy with it? We're fine then. Okay, thanks, Peter. So are there questions? Peter, do you want to make any comments on what's been said so far?
Just briefly about the idea of solar at the wastewater plant. I hadn't really heard about that before. Personally, I thought the water plant looked a little more promising up at Miners Pond, but the whole wastewater plant is in the flood zone.
So our wastewater plant is what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Okay.
but the another option is you were talking about the Saxtons River wastewater plant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's also in the flood zone, but the wastewater plants are always in the flood zone. They have to be because they have to be right on the river. Oh, yeah, there might be enough land there for a solar array, but I don't know how much the flooding complicates it. You know, they don't want a bunch of solar panels washing down the river.
Okay.
So I have a question. What's the advantage to us to doing an array at the wastewater plant as opposed to just connecting to the plant that's being built at the gravel pit?
I think for me, I wanted to make sure that I hadn't let any unexplored opportunities go by. And it's taken me a while to sort of think through it. I had heard that the Westminster School made the decision not to go with being an off-taker because they plan to build their own array. So I thought, well, is that the sensible thing to do? I'm not eager as a village to take on running a solar
Yeah.
property. And once I started thinking about being an off-taker for that 2 years in the future plant, or being an off-taker for something that was already right in front of our noses, it seemed to me that the better course would be this one.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Ellen, you work for a company that has a solar array, am I right?
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add?
No, I guess I just wish Kristen was here, but so long as it will be reviewed by a lawyer, then I'm okay with continuing on.
She also said that she had the feeling, she is a lawyer, that it would take her weeks of study to really understand this contract in depth. So I passed
Yeah.
that on to you.
Well, yeah, but no, you said that VLCT would,
Well, legal review.
right,
And I feel relatively sure that VLCT has seen a number of these contracts, but I don't know that for a fact.
yeah.
Amy,
Vanessa,
keep in mind that VLCT is very general, provides very general assistance, legal assistance.
good
Mm.
thought.
Yeah, I mean, I know we've been talking about this for a while. I'm just worried about that 20-year commitment, but maybe that's pretty standard.
I think it is
Yeah.
standard.
It is.
And,
It's-
and what happens to, because I was talking to, someone locally in Bellas Falls who manages a building, and they had looked into doing a solar array. But then you're committed to this for 20 years. You can't exercise any other options or, utilize any other resources, I guess. And, I might just be being overly cautious.
Peter, isn't it solar arrays? What's their lifespan? Is it about 6, 8 years?
No, it's considered to be about 20 years.
Okay,
That's why they have the 20-year commitment.
so what happens after 20 years?
I think the agreement can be extended
Mhm,
if the array is still working.
right.
But the Rockingham and Bellas Falls and the library, I believe, all had the contracts that they signed reviewed by a lawyer. I think it might have been Ray Masuko. There's also, keep in mind, there's something called opportunity cost. It's the money you're not saving by, by not taking an opportunity. And, we first proposed this to the schools back in 2018. So, there's been 5 years of savings that they could have had and they didn't take. So you should keep that in mind.
Yeah, because I'm all for solar, absolutely. My concern is just the amount of time being committed. Because that's the one thing that keeps holding me back from doing it at my own house.
Yeah, so to put another lens on it, how long do we expect to be using the wastewater treatment plant?
I hope we'll still be using it in 20 years.
I do too.
At
We
least
just-
30 because of the law.
Yeah, we just spent a portion.
Not more than 20 years.
Yeah,
And
so we made that commitment, folks. I mean,
we had no choice.
yeah.
Um,
Well, I think I do feel a little bit more comfortable with it.
I'm concerned about these 20-year commitments, and that's something that, well, suppose that Novus goes bankrupt in 10 years.
Well, that's their problem. I mean, I think more likely,
But
suppose
are we-
Novus sells their contract.
Or
to-
sells a
to-
contract, or we.
Well, our contract goes along with it. So I think it's like selling a mortgage. I
Okay.
don't know that, but I would expect legal counsel to bring up those questions.
That's right. So that's why I would like you to.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, I think I will state that I am okay with proceeding with it because
Okay.
there will be legal review
okay.
and,
It's written into the motion. So
Huh?
it's written into the motion.
right. So that's why I'm okay with that. I just needed to hear myself talk.
Okay, good.
So then, after we have gotten the legal opinion, we will go back and look at it and make sure that we're still okay with it.
Well, if the legal opinion asks questions, but the way the amendment, the way the motion is worded, we would join if we pass legal, if the legal review is gives us a clean pass. Our intention is to join, given the legal review.
Okay.
Are we ready for a vote? Peter, do you want any more comments?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right, I'm going to try for an all in favor vote then. All in favor of the motion, which is to
To become off takers.
For the Novus
array. Subject to legal review of the contract.
okay. All right, all in favor signify with a show of hands. Aye. Okay, that's unanimous. Great. Thank you. I will contact legal review and the League of Cities and Towns initially. And if they can't review it, ask if they have a recommendation. I'm not sure who the town of Rockingham is using now that Ray Masuko has passed on. but we can find out. I will contact Alex Barakis and tell him we would like to be his off-taker, subject to this one final step.
Great.
All right, we are up to village property signs. So,
Oh, I guess I was gonna sign off, but I'll stay for that one.
great, it would be lovely to have you, Peter. So I'm going to share so I'll just tell you my thoughts so far. So you tasked me with coming up with a draft and some costs. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, let's go cheap and almost make it look temporary. So I thought Carl is an expert on fence posts. What if we had a fence post with a sign that was in a plastic sealed thing? You know, you can buy these plexiglass things just affixed to the signpost. So we're not spending $70 to get somebody to create something. And if people say, I think, yeah, exactly, I think that wording is offensive, we pull it out and rewrite it again. So it also occurred to me, somebody at the Historical Society, maybe Connie Lancaster, showed me a wonderful photograph of the corner of Mill and Maple, the housing for the woolen workers that used to be there.
Oh, I've never seen
Wouldn't
that.
that be phenomenal if you had, you know, a picture like that on the bottom with this was the site? So let me share my screen and show you what the sign looks like. So Carl is right here, so he can see it. So at the top, I have that picture of the village park, which is also on our webpage. Then it says Village of Saxtons River Property. Please, and I tried to make everything positive. So please enjoy this area. It's owned by the village. That's a little informal. If you think it's too informal, straighten me out. So then these are all separate centered things. Volunteers keep the property looking good, keep trash, tires, and litter away. The village, so that is in lieu of saying no dumping, just the positive thing. The village allows lawn mowing, but no other motor vehicles. Write to the village trustees with any questions, mailing address, phone number. All are welcome at village trustee meetings, agendas and minutes posted at, and then the website. So it's quite brief. Please enjoy, keep the property looking good, lawn mowing, but no other motor vehicles. Reactions? I'm going to stop sharing, but I'll get it back if you need it. Peter, let's start with you. You're the public.
Well, my eyesight isn't very good, so I would make the font bigger to start with.
Okay.
But it doesn't say no dumping of brush, and that's a lot of what's been dumped on River Street.
Brush,
Yeah.
tires, and litter away. Good suggestion. Okay.
Yeah, that's all I had.
Okay, Inessa?
Do we have any directions for those who has brush that we can say, talk to Rockingham office or, you know, like gently direct people?
So
Give
I could put
something.
that on the bottom. Brush can be delivered to the Rockingham to the transfer station, Rockingham Recycling.
Yeah,
That
something
is the only
generic.
place I know of at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe a little star on brush, and then at the bottom where you can take brush.
Mhm.
Great suggestion.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Can you add anything like carry in, carry out? That seems only because that seems to be like a common phrase.
Yeah. So the two places I'm thinking that this could be posted would be the Village Park and the corner of Mill and Maple. And you know, I mean, people aren't going to go camping.
Well, I was thinking like if they had a picnic or something, or
And by Village Park, do you mean both in the park itself and then down on River Street where there's been dumping?
So we would I think ideally we would have this sign, there were 4 sites that Matt identified for
Oh.
village property.
Oh,
So
okay.
the Village Park, corner of Mill and Maple, and I think, right before the village wastewater treatment plant, and where the fence is broken, right near the fire access road.
That's what I was talking about on River Street. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
So those are the 4 places.
Sounds
Once
good.
we have a PDF map, and I'm not sure where we are with that, we can also put a location for the PDF map. And that could even be one of those
QR codes.
QR codes. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I haven't heard anything from Jeff. But
Okay.
he would probably contact you before he contacted me.
Okay. So this is kind of a consensus thing. If I do these changes, are you okay with that?
No,
No. Okay. So
no,
Carl, let's hear the objections.
I think it's number 1, too nice. And number 2, too much information for the purpose of just. I mean, something like this is great at the park, even at the corner of Mill and Maple, but not appropriate for that border of the wastewater treatment property,
Okay.
which
So,
needs to be, and you need to have, speaking as somebody who's had to post land, you have to have this notice multiple places along the property line so that it's visible. So if you want to keep motor vehicles off of your property, say along the wastewater treatment plant, you need to have a sign that says no motor vehicles here, 100 feet down the road, 100 feet down the road. So I think that
so maybe we're talking 2 signs,
2 different signs, yeah.
a nice one and a not nice one.
Well, I don't want to say not nice.
Keep
but,
out.
Less subtle, maybe.
That's the trespassers or something, I don't know.
Well, we
Um,
talked about trespassing, and
yeah.
my sense from the board discussion was that
We
you
don't
didn't
wanna-
want to do
no,
no trespassing.
So I think something like this is a really good, what you say, a really good place at the park.
Okay.
I mean, it
The
talks,
park may not want us to do that. This goes to the park committee.
Right.
We have given them quite a bit of leeway.
right, but, I mean, something like this is, it's on, you know, like you said, it's nice and it's, you're welcome to this, to the facility and encourages people to use it. I'm not sure that we want to encourage people to go traipsing along the riverbank there by the wastewater treatment plant. I'm not sure it's safe. And so we would not want to be,
Sorry?
so I mean, we can't obviously, we don't want to forbid people from doing it, but we don't want to use language that makes it look like it's a recreational sort of area. And I think that, again, Matt's concern with the motor vehicle traffic in that area, I think it needs to be a little bit more blunt.
So what do you think about a sign that says Village of Saxons River property, and along the river, it says no motor vehicles, no brush, anything else? No access?
No, I don't think we want to say that. That's the same thing with trespassing.
Okay. No brush, tires, or litter. And then for any questions, the same information? What do you think?
Yeah,
Carl?
yeah,
So 2 signs,
Two
2
signs.
different messages? Okay, are you okay with the idea of the fence posts and the plastic containers?
how many fence posts are you talking about?
I don't know, but they're cheap compared to what it would cost us. I guess we have to walk the riverbank,
Mhm.
and if you say 100 feet, what did you say? Every,
Well, I say about every 100 feet, but
so.
I don't remember what the requirements for posting are.
But we're not required to do this. It's just what looks sensible.
If you want people to not do something on your land, you're required to post it at certain intervals, is what I meant.
Mhm.
Carl,
Yeah.
I know the requirement for no trespassing signs is only every 400 feet.
Is it
Um,
400?
Yeah, which is not very many, but
Which
yeah,
is big signs along that.
you can buy signs that say no motorized vehicles for $8 to $10. Big bold print. Um, and based on my experience at the Riverfront Park, you should just expect that some of the signs will disappear
Mhm.
and just replace them. I mean, that's all you can do.
Okay.
Something like that, you wouldn't even need a fence post, you could attach it to a tree,
Mhm.
if you wanted to.
Uh, yeah, I'm not sure there are very many trees along that property line.
Yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, fence posts are relatively cheap. You're thinking of a metal post.
I was thinking of the metal ones, yeah. It just seemed to me it made more sense to do this inexpensively and locally.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that's fine. That's a fine way to start.
Okay, so 2 signs,
Mhm.
and local metal fence posts. And it sounds like maybe we want a sign that says no motorized vehicles, and no dumping, no brush. Again, I don't know that we'll be able to find, well, I'll look into it. I didn't, once I thought of this genius idea of making our own signs, I didn't spend any time looking for any others. All right, are we comfortable with where we've ended up on this?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, committee updates. I have a feeling we're
Now-
going to get through these.
now
Thank
I'm
you.
leaving.
Melissa, do you want to update us on the treasurer, where you are as treasurer? Thank you, Peter.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, Peter.
Yes, we are plugging away. I'm making payments, paying the bills as they come in, reconciled June, waiting for July bank statements. Amy and I met with an accountant from R&H Smith or something like that. I forget.
So it's the accountant that has audited, it's the firm that's audited Rockingham books.
Yeah.
And he worked closely with Alyssa Harlow and seems to be willing to help us pro bono.
Yeah.
I thought it was
So
kind of a fun conversation.
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
reflect back on that?
Yeah, so he just very good in customer, relations. So he's very responsive. He offered to come in and see our books. So will be next Tuesday locally. I do have an access to the old computer laptop. So I logged in and everything is working, everything is there if he needs it. So it's functional. So the main goal is to set up some items on our balance sheet, bring up liability accounts. So check on some accounts receivable. Yeah, so just we'll plug away. We sent out property taxes bills. I had maybe 3 sort of clarifications, where to send the bill and stuff like that. Where is my bill? But not bad. I sent out all the needed invoices to mortgage company who pays on behalf of the folks. So they supposed to receive that as well. So that's done. Thank you for allowing me to use the printer at the fire station. That is very helpful. So I'm
Absolutely. Whatever.
very functional there. Yeah, so it works very well. So yeah, that's all I have. I don't
So
really have any-
Ellen, you will be thrilled to hear, I'm sure, that the pink key has now gone to Anessa.
Yeah,
pretty
he told me. I just want to state that I really appreciate Inessa and everything that she's done, because it was a big project and You're very thorough.
Oh,
So
thank you.
I'm very
also-
impressed.
I
When you
also,
hear that, when you hear that from the person who's doing the warrants, that's,
Well, Anessa keeps me on task.
I also set up the return stamp, so we have that.
good, good. So for my part, I have all of the old files from the last 2 or 3 years. And I have asked the League of Cities and Towns how long I need to keep invoices. I am hoping that there will be a very reasonable answer and I can start getting rid of some of this paper. I have accounts going back to Alex Barrett. So that's a little bit of a way. So I'm waiting to hear from them. Carl.
I have a comment that I'll make while Vanessa's here about the tax bills. And this affects maybe a half dozen taxpayers in the village, but you may hear a question about it. On the tax bill, it says how many total acres of property are in your parcel. And there are a few of us who have lands in our parcel that are not within the village limit. And the reason I'm saying this is because one of them contacted the listers to say, how come I'm being taxed by the village for land that's not in the village? And the short answer to that is that when they compute the taxes for us, when they print the bills, that their program takes out the portion of the property that is not within the village limit. So it's like a half an acre in my case, or an acre and a half in Mike's tax case.
So are you telling me that in fact, although you see the total number of acres, the Saxtons River tax bill does not reflect that number in the taxes charged?
For about a half a dozen of us whose property straddles the village limit.
Right.
So,
Okay, so
yeah,
if there are Rockingham acres reflected in the acreage reported on your tax bill, you are still not being charged Saxon's River tax for those acres.
that's correct, according to the list.
Okay,
And they are looking into how to correct that, so that the tax bill reflects what they're actually taxing us.
well,
It's good to know. Thank you.
so it's not the amount that's being corrected, it's the face value on the tax bill.
It's the amount of acres on the tax.
Okay,
So,
but the number, the dollars you're paying
dollars
is correct.
Dollars are correct, yeah.
Okay,
So if anybody asks you if they're being double taxed, they're not.
Okay.
And I think most of us already know that we're affected, but in case anybody asks you,
Yeah,
as tax
appreciate
collector,
that.
you can say that.
okay. I will just mention one more thing while we're on the subject of tax collecting. While I was looking for something that apparently doesn't exist, a municipal treasurer's handbook, which I thought the League of Cities and Towns had, it appears that they let it go before the COVID years. So there doesn't seem to be a document now. But I did find a short, useful document on delinquent tax collection. So I'm leaving that with Dave Moore. It appeared to be useful to me. And I should give you a copy also, Inessa. We do have people, a few people at least, who take advantage of the VHAP program, which helps you pay your taxes if you're in a certain economic bracket. And there are special ways that they are handled if their taxes are in delinquent tax status. So I'll give that to both of you and hopefully it'll be useful.
I had just
Okay.
one question about sewer fee. People are asking me, what's the status? What should I answer?
Not ready yet.
Okay,
Do you have a sense of when you want to calculate that, Carl?
I have to go down to the village hall and take a look at some documents there by our next meeting. I mean,
So our next meeting, I believe, is September. Is that correct? We have only one meeting in August and then 2 in September. Does anybody keep track of that?
If we want to schedule a special meeting to look at sewer fees in 2 weeks, I can do it.
Well,
Okay.
our next meeting would be September 4th,
That's Labor Day.
which is Labor Day. So I assume, in fact, our next meeting will be September 11th. Is that too late for setting the sewer fees? I just have the feeling in August, people are gone.
We have the money in the bank, so,
Um,
and our biggest bill gonna be in December.
Let's see, what we usually have done is done the sewer fees a month after we've done the taxes.
Mm.
So they're staggered.
Mhm.
If we send the bills out at the beginning of September and have them do it in October, I don't think that's too late if we have the money
Okay,
in the bank to cover expenses.
You think we're okay, Anessa? So this
Yeah.
would be meeting on the 11th. That's
Mhm.
the next regular meeting.
okay. So by the end of September, we can send out.
Schedule it. So we would set the fee at the 11th. And then you have to get I believe it's still Rockingham that prints the
No,
sewer bills,
I
no?
don't think so. No, they only do the taxes.
Okay,
I don't,
We'll print it out.
yeah,
okay. And of course, you can use the fire station again.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll put that on the agenda for September 11th. Set the sewer fee.
yeah.
It gives you time. Anessa's covered. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Anessa. You're welcome to stay, but you don't need to.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Okay, so municipal energy resilience program, Kristen's been keeping track of that, so I assume there's no report. Fire station is typically Matt, so I assume there's no report. Wastewater treatment plant, I checked in with Josh Kemp while I was signing routine paperwork. Just curious about the impact of all that water that came charging through. And I remembered that the previous July, we did have some serious problems. It was fine this year. So
Oh,
very
good.
water, but it was
Oh,
fine.
that's
Thanks for
excellent.
doing that, Amy.
37 Main Street, nothing to report. I think we've done the treasurer, so I think we're up to the minutes of July 10th and July 12th. Are you okay with handling them together?
Yeah,
Carl, anything you want to say about either July 12th or July 10th?
Okay, so the special meeting, which was July 12th, there was a typo in there which said that our village grand list was $3 billion.
oh, yeah.
To $3 million. The minutes of the regular meeting, Amy caught a couple of typos and a question about the reason for the delay in the tax bills being printed, whether that was a one-time or whether this was a change in policy that would affect us in the future. So I had written it as though it was going to be an ongoing thing, but I'm no longer sure that that's the case.
I think
So
it's just one time.
I just took that out and
Okay.
just said that it was not possible to print the bills.
Okay,
So, and a couple of typos.
okay. So just some general
Some
corrections,
general
typo
corrections.
corrections.
Typo
Okay.
corrections, yeah.
Ellen, any comments from you?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of July 10th and July 12th with the corrections that Carl has already outlined. Is there a second to that motion?
I second it.
A second.
Ellen has seconded the motion. Is there any further discussion? Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes of July 10th and July 12th with the corrections that Carl has outlined. All in favor, show of hands. And we see Carl's, and we're all set, unanimous. Okay, Ellen, I think you still have the ability to share. Do you want to show us the warrant that you've been working on so faithfully?
Sure. Okay. Can you see?
Yep, there it is.
Okay, good. Okay, so this month, I'll make it bigger too. The total amount is surprisingly only $8,754.40. Do anyone have any questions?
Nope, I see some Saxons River Rec area expenses.
Yep,
Was that equipment?
yep. That was for Sam. Hold on a second.
Sam Fletcher?
Yep. It was for reimbursement. Hold on a second. Oh, no, you know what? That was on the July one. And then we had that other one that just came in and emailed Sam about, but I haven't heard back. But I still think that we should authorize it because I expect to hear back from her.
So there was one that was for lawnmower repairs.
Yes, and that's Gary.
And she
Kinney.
verified that one.
She did, okay. Because
Yeah.
I emailed her, but I hadn't heard back. So that's it
Yeah.
right here. In the
So I
center.
think we
Oh.
had one of those situations where I got copied on something and you didn't. We're trying to bring everybody up to speed, but you know, there are always these fluctuations, and I try to make sure that you get everything you should, but.
Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah, Amy, you do a fantastic job. Thank you. So can you see it right here? It was for Gary Kinney,
Yep,
number 12, in the amount of $375.
yep.
Okay.
So I think that's a lawnmower that needed extensive work. She's trying to
Yeah.
keep, it going. Yeah, reimbursement for mower maintenance. Yep, so it is okay to pay. She copied me on her response.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, I think we're all set then. This reminds me,
Oh, I'm sorry, there is one, Inessa and I talked yesterday. And so I'm gonna go back to now not scanning again.
okay, so she wants the bills in person?
Yeah, even though I do deliver them, it is very time consuming for me to scan them. Cause as much as I enjoy doing it because I like having that digital record, but I will continue to do the sheet, the Google sheet, and put everything on here as that all remains the same, and me emailing Inessa and then physically dropping off the invoices later.
Great. You know, I think the auditors prefer the physical invoices. And since Inessa does not have a printer, I think this is a great solution.
Yep,
You're actually giving them to her.
yep.
Okay,
So-
we need a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the warrants for payment in the amount of $8,754.40. And that is for 28. No, I bet it's not 28 items. I'll just use the
Oh,
total.
I'm sorry, no, it's so lines 4 through 28.
So is that 24 items?
Yes.
So there's a motion to approve the warrant for $8,754.40, 24 items. Is there a second to that?
I will second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the warrant for $8,754.40, 24 items. All in favor? If you want to stop sharing, that would be great.
Sure.
All in favor, hold up a hand, and it is unanimous. Great. Okay. Oh, I did not bring a new policy on the tax rate. I will just have to trot that around to all of you. So I checked,
That's on tax sales.
I'm sorry, tax sales. Yeah, it's not tax rate. You're absolutely right. So I checked in again with Scott. He said that, this is Scott Pickup, the town manager. He said that if we want to be a signatory, it is still a Rockingham policy, but we can add our names to the policy and sign it as the Board of Saxtons River. So I need to produce that document, and I think I can bring it to you individually to sign. Do you have a problem with that?
No,
Okay, great. I'll do that. I'll do that this coming week. Other business, Inessa looked into a credit card for the wastewater treatment plant and the fire department, and TD Bank cannot provide one. Should we go out and look for a general credit card company? Does anybody have any expertise or background in this? Rockingham has a different bank, and their bank does provide a true credit card, not a debit card, but a true credit card for use. But since we have a different bank, I'm loath to change bank accounts. I think that would be a little bit crazy at this point.
yeah, I don't think, I think that if we can use an outside bank for a credit card, that's fine with me, because if it's used and then you get points, we could use the points, then you can cash in the points and then we can put it back into like the general fund.
Okay, Carl, reactions, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm amazed that TD Bank can't do it, but
This
I-
is the second time we've asked officially. Sarah inquired and found the same answer a
Yep.
year ago. So
Yep.
I think we've reached the end on that one.
yeah, I'm just surprised.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
all.
because I mean, I have a debit card with TD Bank that I use as both debit and credit, so.
Huh, well, they did offer a debit card. So is that, can you use it up to a specified amount?
Yeah,
Well,
like
maybe we should
having,
try that.
yeah, I mean, there's, you know, like I just select credit instead of debit. When, if I use it, it's just as much money as in my account.
The only disadvantage with that is that the money comes out of our account as the card is used.
Mhm.
Yep,
So sometimes we end up being a little low in our balance at particular times of the month. And if somebody bought a $300 item, it might overdraw us.
Well, the difficulty we have is that in particular, the wastewater treatment plant is looking for items that are difficult to find.
Right,
And often they are only available for one supplier, and they want to be able to make the purchase immediately.
but I'm not quarreling with that. My point is, I think a credit card would be better than a debit card because it gives us a little cushion in covering the cost.
it does. My, about 10 years ago, my husband's debit card was stolen with an online purchase, and it was TD Bank, and they didn't catch it, and we were wiped out of $2,500, and it took 10 days to get it back.
Yep.
So, I mean,
I think that we are better off looking for a true credit card from someone else than we are.
Okay,
going with a
yeah, because
debit.
you can, you know, I don't know if there's some kind of rule or law about having it from a different bank, but I think it's a good idea. And then the purchases, they just accrue bonuses, and then you can cash your bonuses in for cash in some situations. Like, for example, I have a Discover card. And so I get cashback bonuses, and right now I've got like $500 in cashback bonuses that I could just ask them to apply to my balance or have them write me a check.
okay. So I'll give Inessa the heads up that we're comfortable with going forward with purchasing it, with arranging for a credit card for the village, ideally with a bank. Okay. We are up to next meetings and topics. So I think we're looking at September 11th. And what's your pleasure for the second meeting in September? So September 4th is Labor Day, the 11th and the 25th might be reasonable. that means the 25th would happen right before the 2nd. So that would give us a chance to spread the agenda out over 2 meetings with the knowledge that we'd have another one following up quickly. If we didn't have enough for agenda, we could go forward and skip that meeting. But what's your pleasure? We did decide that when we had that 3-hour meeting, we were just at the point where we were maxed out.
Yeah.
So tonight's agenda is, really, really thinned down. Once I knew that we wouldn't have all 5 of us present, I made sure that we kept it down.
I would suggest that we scheduled on the 18th and have that 1 week be between the 11th and the 18th rather than the 25th.
Okay.
And the reason for that is would put us back on a first and third Monday schedule.
How do you feel about that, Ellen? Can you hear me, Ellen?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was on mute. So it's gonna be the 18th instead of the 11th?
It's going to be 2 meetings, the 11th and the 18th.
Oh, and the 18th, okay, yep, no problem.
Okay, and I will do everything I can to cram everything important into the 11th because I will be away on the 18th. I may be able to attend remotely, but I might, if we're gonna continue meeting in person, I'll ask you to run the meeting.
Okay.
And I'd be happy to take the minutes, Ellen, if we'll see what happens.
Yeah, let's wait and see. I'm okay.
Yeah,
with
we'll talk about it on the 11th again. So I have tentatively for that meeting, discussing ARPA. It would be good to get those funds allocated. We have Greater Rock waiting to hear, although I spoke with them recently and Greater Rock, you remember, is looking to plan their boiler. They have made the decision to defer for 1 year. So they have a further year to do studies. They have decided they need to have an engineering firm do the specifications before the RFP goes out. They just realized the project was bigger and more complex than they had anticipated. So, but I think it would be good to get those decisions, if we don't make them in September and October, then we're right up against the end of the year. So the sooner the better.
And then also the feasibility study is what the monies are for that.
Okay, how to pay, so that will also be the September agenda. Okay, anything else?
Sewer fees.
Sewer fees. I did have somebody from the trailer park right outside of Saxtons River reach out to me with some questions, but I have not heard back, so I don't know what's happening with that. Sewer rate, ARPA, I think that's it as far as I know. Anything from your end, Ellen? I don't know if you always look at the sheriff's report, but I was kind of thrilled to see that arrests are being made, warnings are being given,
Yeah.
and particularly ticket revenue. So I know it doesn't come to us, it goes to Rockingham, but I still think, we're making, we've got people acting on speeding here in the village of Saxtons River. So.
Yep.
I don't know if it's good to be happy about that. I'm sure there are some very unhappy people. That's what we get. Any other business?
No,
We have our next meeting date and topics, and I think we're ready for a motion to adjourn.
yep.
I move we adjourn.
All in favor? Great.
Bye, guys.
This meeting was recorded by Falls Area Community Television, located at 1 Hospital Court, Bellows Falls, Vermont. If you would like a copy of the meeting, our phone number is 802-463-1613, or email us at fact810@gmail.com. Falls Area Community TV, keeping government honest.